What is up, ladies and gentlemen? In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review over the Alphafly 1's.
Stay down with the game.
I got no time for the drama, but they won't talk on my name now. Enemies wanna be friends with me. No, there ain't no way now. Boy, you should've just stayed down. No, there ain't no way now. I just be in my own lane now. Stay with the gang.
Yes, you guys heard me correctly. We're going old school in the Alphafly 1's. These things came out a while ago. I think I was a freshman in high school when these actually came out. These are modeled after the first pair of the Nike 4%. On top of the all black colorway, we also have the light blue colorway. I'm pretty sure it's called like fox blue or maybe ice blue, something like that. But this is one of my favorite colorways ever in any shoe. These almost look identical to the first 4% that ever came out. I'll put a picture on screen if you guys haven't seen those. But yeah, these are definitely my favorite looking shoes by far. Now, out of the last couple of weeks, I'm not exactly sure how far I ran, a couple hundred miles. But these shoes, I probably ran about 10% of all of those miles in them. So I've definitely gotten to know these shoes a lot more over the last couple of weeks than I did before. You know, the last time I had a pair of these shoes was probably 3 or 4 years ago, and this is my first time. You know, the last 4 weeks is my first time wearing them again for a very, very long time. So yes, I do know it's a little bit late to do a review over these shoes, but I thought, why not? I might as well. Now, the first thing I'm gonna start off with is price, because it always starts at the price. When these shoes came out, it was 150 bucks. And now you can find them anywhere from like 60 bucks to 100 bucks depending on the size and if they're used or not. I was able to cop these. I think I got them for 60 bucks on eBay, and they're already used, so I was just planning on wearing them and not actually running in them. But I do want to give you guys a runner's perspective in these shoes. So yeah, these shoes cost 150 brand new, and you know, depending on where you get them, you can get them for cheaper than that. And Nike does not sell these shoes anymore, which kind of sucks because, you know, it's kind of hard to find them depending on what size you are, but you know, there still is hope for you guys. Now, the overall looks of these shoes is just so nice. You know, they're very pleasant to look at, very pleasant to the eye. I've already got a couple compliments from my family members with these shoes. You know, you can kind of see the fly wire, and you know, Nike's newer shoes, they hid the fly wire inside the actual mesh of the shoe, but you can definitely see the fly wire on these, which, you know, isn't that big of a turn off. And then there's a whole bunch of holes, as you guys can see right there, you know, for breathability. But I found that these shoes, your feet actually do get pretty hot in these shoes when you run in them, and you guys will probably find that out if you ever run in these shoes, that these shoes, you know, they get pretty warm, especially on a hot summer day. There are holes, but the holes in the material doesn't do a good enough job of keeping your feet cool. Now, the tongue on the shoe is pretty big, as you can see, and it's one of my favorite tongues on shoes so far. You know, a lot of the newer Nike shoes, they have built-in tongues that are kind of like a sock material that your foot kind of just slides into. The first shoe that came to mind are the Nike 4% Flyness. You know, the tongue is kind of like this, and it's built in. And, you know, this is very comfortable, don't get me wrong, but for a training shoe, you definitely would rather have a tongue like this, because when you're racing, you know, you're not doing that many turns, especially when you're racing on a track. You know, your feet, you don't have to worry about your ankle falling out. But when you're in practice and you're doing all these kinds of turns, you know, cutting across courses and stuff like that, you definitely want a secure ankle, you know, because you could really mess up your ankle. So the tongue is definitely very good for a training shoe, and it kind of has a little V shape that goes around your ankle. Now, the primary use of this shoe is for training. You can do long runs in them, you can do tempos in them, and you can actually do workouts in them. Now, I found that these shoes, you know, they're not very good for doing cross-country workouts in the actual grass, because as you can see, the tread is pretty much not there. There is tread, but it's very, very light, and you know, the tread's obviously worn down with these shoes because these shoes have a couple hundred miles in them, but the tread's not very much better than this. As you can see, the indents are on the heel part of the shoe, which doesn't do you that much good, you know, especially on the grass or gravel, but these shoes do well on the track, and they feel very good on the track. And I'm not a flat-footed person at all. I do have a pretty high arch. I do tell you guys this in every single video, but these shoes do feel very good. You know, my foot kind of pronates in these shoes a little bit, but not too much to the point where I'm gonna get injured. Now, this was also one of the first shoes that Nike came out with that has the pointed back. I'm pretty sure these things came around a little bit before the Pegasus 35s, because these shoes came out with the pointed back after the 4%, and then the next shoe right after that was the first pair of the Pegasus 35s that had the pointed back. And since then, you know, almost every single pair of Nike shoes that you can get for running has the pointed back. All of the Pegasus has them, the Zoom Tempos has them, all the Next Percents, Alphaflys 4%, so those all have them. Pretty much any shoe you can get. The Pegasus Turbo, you know, I can go on and on naming shoes that have the pointed back. And I remember when these shoes came out, a lot of people were actually having problems with the shoelaces, and when they tied their shoes, people would always complain about them coming untied during runs, and I actually never had that problem. It might be because I double knot and triple knot all of my ties, but a lot of people did have that problem, and I didn't have that problem. So if you guys are like me and you double knot and triple knot your shoes, you should have no problem with these shoes during the run. Now, if I do remember correctly, these shoes do last a pretty long time. I'm guessing somewhere between 350 to 400 miles these shoes will get you. They could honestly get you even more depending on what you use these shoes for. If you're just using these shoes for, you know, easy maintenance runs, they'll get you more than 400. But if you're using these shoes for every single workout, every single tempo, every single day, then they'll probably get you around 300. And just a fun fact, to be honest, these are two of my favorite colorways ever in both of these shoes. I looked at all the different colorways that came in this shoe, and these are by far my top two. This one probably edges this a little bit, but I do like both of these very, very much. Now, I did just go on Nike's website trying to get a little bit more information for you guys, and These shoes says they're best shoes on the road/treadmill. They weigh 247 grams or 8.7 ounces for a US size 10. And the tech is basically just the Flywire and the Lunar Lawn. I'm not sure if the Lunar Lawn is actual cushion or the upper mesh material. They have a 10mm heel drop. That's pretty common for running shoes and especially Nike running shoes. The stack height is 33 in the back and 23 in the front, so obviously the 10mm heel drop comes from that. And then they're fast-paced training, half marathon and full marathon distances. So I'm not sure. I guess people do use these shoes for half and full marathons, but probably not anymore that much. And then another benefit is Nike React technology delivers an extremely smooth ride, which I definitely agree with that. And then finally, reinforced rubber heels for lasting durability, which I also agree with that, because a lot of you guys probably don't know this, but a lot of shoes, especially non-Nike shoes, don't have rubber on the bottom, and the treads of those shoes do not last anywhere as long as Nike's tread, because they have rubber on the forefoot. As you guys can see, the top of it has a bunch of leather and it makes it last a lot longer. Now that's going to be it for my video about these Zoomfly 1s. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe, and also make sure to go down below and comment what you guys want to see next. I will see you guys next time. Stay safe and stay blessed. Peace.